Hey everybody, ronarray here, and today's video is a little unusual. Are you tired of dying and keep losing experience in mobs? Bosses takes ages to kill? Your bleed doesn't bleed? Well, let's fix it. I have looked at more than 100 path of buildings of different people this league, and did fixing your build stream as well. So in this video I want to address the most glaring issues and the most common mistakes people make when doing Lacerate and some other builds in general. This video will mostly contain a compilation of fixes I addressed while looking at your POBs during POB fixing streams. Check the timestamps for particular things to improve, and let's go. Let me showcase, guys, that's a very common mistake. You have two flasks in there. So granite flask and quartz flask, but both of them has increased armor during effect. Those bonuses can stack, so only one of them is working. If you have 52 like increased armor during effect, you don't need a second flask with the same bonus. You can pretty much pick flask with a different bonus, like reduce cursed effects, for example. And that's a very good idea, because a lot of people are picking flasks with the same bonuses. So first off, when you pick a large cluster jewel, it's very important to make sure that each cluster jewel is kind of working for you. So it's not for different weapons that you're kind of using. You need one for access or for attack damage. You have one for stuff here. It's not good and you should keep it in mind. So you will probably need to repick it up. There's also a pretty common situation, guys, when you are picking the ring like that. You need to click it with blessed orbs to change the implicit. So you have 23% of implicit right here, but if you click with blessed orbs that cost nothing right now, it will be so easy to reach 30. It could be much better for you to balance your resistances for such cases, so keep that in mind. In some situations, guys, people are picking mastery, like life mastery. But right now, life mastery is giving you only 70 life. If instead of life mastery here, you would pick any random point for life like here, you will receive 112 total life. So that's about 40 life more. So instead of spending point here, you can just drop it and you can just pick life here and you will have more lives that way. It's almost always better to pick a 6% point than going for life mastery right now, because life mastery being nerfed. So yeah, guys, another cool trick. So right here you have allocated proficiency. You need a little more dexterity. Your dexterity is 113 and you need 16, right? So you spend a point and allocate proficiency. But there's another option for you. Instead of allocating proficiency, you can save that point, but just checking Replica Badge Brotherhood and clicking it with pretty much catalysts for attributes. So catalyst for attributes is going to give you enough attributes so you will compensate the 3. So for example, if you will create new Replica Badge Brotherhood, if you will just create new replica and we will pick catalysts, look, 4 attributes, and we will click it. As you can see, it will give you 4 dexterity. So 4 dexterity, it's pretty much enough for you to reach your cap. 4 dexterity is perfectly enough. So you will be able to save that point and you don't need proficiency anymore. Just click your replica with attribute catalysts and it's going to be enough. So guys, another pretty cool bonus if you are using like steel skin and you have a lot of armor like 20k or 30k, you can go for molten shell instead. So molten shell is going to provide you better survivability than the steel skin, as you can see. And in some situations, molten shell could be better. Another cool part is that molten shell has like better duration. So duration of molten shell is like 3 seconds. And steel skin is only 1.5 seconds. So the only cool part that steel skin can provide is immunity to bleeding. Otherwise, molten shell feels better. I definitely recommend to use it if you have a lot of armor here. So it could work better than the steel skin. If you're going for Unwavering Stance, for mana build or for blood magic build, always pick the socket because you only need 2 points and you can get pretty cool bonuses from the socket itself. So it's always recommended to go for the socket, and if you don't have it, it's a mistake. Most of the time you need to pick it. So one of the most common mistakes that I see in Lacerate builds, when you don't have spell block chance capped. There are two options to pretty much cap it. You can take a mastery, so just like 1% to chance to block attack damage, and it's going to cap you, so 65. Or you can just simply use a tattoo. And tattoo is pretty much cap you in 2 tattoos. You can save a point and just use double tattoos to pretty much cap your block here. But it's a very important part because it's a very important to cap your block like that. So try to use tattoos or use that mastery if you are not capped in that part. So here in your build, you're using Vanquisher already, but you're not using the mastery. The mastery is pretty cool. It can give you 10% of DPS per only 1 point if you will be able to roll highest bleed. So it's very important to just pick the mastery. So if you are playing that like as a Vanquisher, you definitely need to pick the mastery. Make sure the mastery is picked because it's a huge step for the build. You can also need to anoint it. For example, right here you have an amulet and you don't have a single anoint on it. So you can just go and for Lacerate build, for example, you can just take Weak Blade for Amber, Verdant and Indigo. That's a very cheap anoint. And you can pretty much do that for like a few classes. But you will get a cool bonus and about 7% of additional DPS on your amulet that way. So please anoint your amulet as fast as possible because it's a way to get more DPS for free. And even if you're playing different builds, there's always on the 3 cool bonuses like that. They don't require a lot. Like if you're a physical build, you can take like Bastion Breaker, for example, Sepia, Teal, and Digo. It's so simple and it's basically free. And for Lacerate, like Weak Blade at the start is feeling pretty alright. So guys, if you're running like Ryslatha Coil, you can just click it with Attack Catalyst, and that's a very cool bonus. It's going to rise amount of more maximum physical attack damage that you're receiving and going to rise your whole damage. So try to do that. So yeah, guys, when we are talking about basic build like that, it's a very important part to pretty much get important and good shield with life on block for better survivability and then move to improving other items such as body armor, such as rings for example, or maybe helmet. So always start with a shield because shield is going to give you survivability. And that's a big step forward. So another very simple mistake. You have a lot of items right here like body armor, gloves, boots, but you never rolled Eldritch Implicits on them. So rolling Eldritch Implicits on items is a very simple but cool way how you can get a little more power. You just need to take Eldritch currency, open, like place your item in your inventory and click it with Eldritch currency. That pretty much will give you Eldritch Implicits too. And that's a very important part, so you will need to roll Eldritch Implicits on all of those items. So one of the most common mistakes when you're picking body armor, it's kinda basic, it got armor and evasion, and it's looking not that bad. But the amount of life that you have there is pretty low, and you don't have any other bonuses, so no suppress, no physical damage reduction, no any other bonuses. So most of the time, it would be a great idea to just repick such armor. And get one with some cool bonus like physical damage reduction or spell suppression and with a lot of health. This is the best way because getting dexterity on armor, on body armor, it's not important. You can get dexterity on your rings, for example, or on other items. On body armor, you need to aim for one cool bonus and pretty much higher amount of life. If you will be able to get higher armor and evasion, that will be good too. You have a decent amount here, but life is low and you don't have any cool bonuses. No mana reservation, no suppress, no physical damage reduction. So any of those bonuses will be very good. So yeah, if you like to use Eviscerate, you can always just add maim to it. Because maim is going to help you with dealing damage with your main skill too. So for example, for Lacerate, if you will add maim and enemies like maimed, it's going to give you more damage. So as you can see, it gives you about 7% of additional damage. So if you can hit enemy with Eviscerate and maim enemy with Eviscerate, you're going to receive 7% of damage. That's a very cool bonus, so take it. And I definitely recommend it to combine that way. I think it's working very good. You could use Light of Minion right here and you could receive much more damage than that. If, for example, you're going to use Light of Minion, for physical damage right here, for physical damage, it costs about 4 divines only. your damage will improve from 3 millions up to 3,700,000 up to 4 millions. It's a very strong option. So Light of Minion, that's pretty much what you need. Another pretty important trick, when you're buying medium cluster jewel, guys, you need to make sure that they are pretty much for damage over time, not for cold damage over time. You have a jewel right here with cold damage over time instead of normal damage, and it's not providing you bonus from a small node. It's not a big miss, it's only about like 1% damage missed, but it's still a pretty nice tip. When you are buying them, make sure they're giving you just increased damage over time and not cold, because cold is not good. You're not doing any cold damage. Slaughter is happening in the build, like it's happening pretty often. If you have a slaughter in your Lacerate build, respecking for cleaving would be a better option in terms of DMG, even if by a little. But try to respec it, I think it will work better. So that's been my compilation of common mistakes that people make when they're building, based on my PoE fixing stream. Hope it can help you to fix some parts of your builds, and it will make your gaming experience a little better. Thank you very much for watching, subscribe for more RPG content, and see you next time. ronarray out.